Alright, I had to make a follow-up video on this one, and also because, well, my first video got a little flamed.
Boo! You stink!
Was even a top comment on the video saying I was doing some clickbaiting, which I don't really see how that was possible, because in the video title itself, I called it saying how 343 Industries actually recasted Master Chief, because, well, they actually did. And this video from Steve Downes right here talks about how he had to actually audition for his role again as Master Chief, even after he was Master Chief for 10 plus years. But recently, we actually had some new information come out from General Heed, and I wanted to showcase to you what it actually sounded like when they actually did recast Master Chief and Cortana. And how, honestly, it sounded pretty good. If you guys enjoy these type of videos, like, subscribe is always appreciated, but let's get right into those details. So here's the video posted by General Heed. I wanted to wait a couple days because I didn't want to like cannibalize his views for whatever I could, wanted to let him get his fair share before we jump into this. So let's actually take a look at this.
Chief? Chief, are you okay?
I'm fine, Cortana. How many Covenant made it through the roof after us?
I can't tell. This planet is wreaking havoc on my sensors. There's an incredible amount of chatter on the Covenant battle nets. We won't be lonely, that's for sure.
We need to find some cover.
Luckily, the wreckage from the crash left us some presence as well. Master Chief, I'm reading a warthog south of our position.
So yeah, honestly, that voice acting, pretty good. I would say it's actually rather passable as a Master Chief and Cortana combo. I just find it rather interesting that they had like voiced characters, like very similar to what Steve Downes and Jen Taylor sound like, but then they didn't go with the same actors, which is just interesting because like you had Steve Downes and Jen Taylor like available. They can do your voice acting just fine. It's like, why change things for the sake of change? That was just like the major motive behind everything that 343 at the time did. They just wanted to change Halo for the sake of change, and you really could tell that they wanted to make Halo their own version of it. I'm just kind of scrubbing through this so you can kind of just have images in the background to look at, but it's just like, why change this? But again, that kind of goes throughout the entirety of Halo 4 of like, why change this when it already works and you have something that is already available for you to utilize? Like, why? I think it really just kind of goes to show how badly 343 want not to live in the shadow of Bungie. They really wanted to make Halo their own game, which is like, I understand like having that motivation, but the thing is that like, you're a studio that was created by Microsoft to continue on the franchise of Halo. You're not making a new game, you're continuing what already exists. And they did a pretty good job, I'd say, of like maintaining the scale of what like Halo has to offer, right, as a franchise. But again, they leaned really heavy into like the extra sci-fi elements of the game, where it kind of loses like that grounded element to it, where like that was always like the nice appeal of Halo, that it always, even though you're like doing these crazy space things, right, crazy space magic involved with everything, it still had like a sense of groundedness to it, which kind of kept you as a player kind of still engaged with the whole thing and never really lost sense of like reality almost, in a way. I know it's really tough to explain, but like I think people who have played classic Halo before and then played Halo 4 and 5 really see what I'm talking about. But like I brought up in my previous video, like there is going to be some point in time where Steve Downes and maybe even Jen Taylor are just not going to be available to do more Halo voice acting. Like Steve Downes, he's not a spring chicken anymore. He's 74 years old. At the time of when they made Halo 1, he was still in his 50s. Now, I'm not saying that Steve Downes is going to roll over and die any day now. That's not how like life works. But I'm saying like there's going to be a point that Halo is going to live on beyond his involvement with the franchise, right? He's going to retire and probably just lives out the rest of his days just like being like a true badass that he was. And while Steve Downes did an amazing job as Master Chief in Halo Infinite, you can definitely tell that there was a tonality in his voice that changed a little bit. It's a little more gravelly, a little more heavier weighted. It just sounds a little bit older, right? And as you get towards like your 80s, like it's definitely gonna start happening where you notice the voice changing enough to where it might not fit Master Chief well enough where someday he may actually be replaced by somebody. Like I expect Halo to go on for another 20 years than where it is right now for how much Microsoft wants to keep pushing Halo, even though the products themselves have not really been that great. There's still that need, that want and desire for more Halo content to be released out. And that's going to go on beyond Steve Downes' career. So you can see like how with the voice actors that they did switch out with in that Halo 4 like early demo kind of thing, that yeah, they can find people who can do a pretty good Master Chief and it'd still be something that people would be okay with hearing. And the weird thing about this is that we're really seeing this clip completely out of context, right? They could be placeholder voices, right? Where they're just making it so then they can kind of prototype out what they would want to do for scenes, and maybe someone does a pretty good Chief and someone does a pretty good Jen Taylor impression or something like that. Or these could be the actual voice actors that were completely recorded and they're just kind of placing them in for early builds of what they were doing for Halo 4 at the time. I mean, Steve Downes did state that it was recorded and done, and the only reason why they brought back Steve Downes and Jen Taylor is because, well, the people who were playing beta tests in this game just didn't quite recognize Chief's voice or didn't recognize Jen Taylor's voice well enough to be like, oh, that's Cortana, that's Master Chief. Do you feel that Master Chief could be a replaceable voice? Well, let me know in the comments, or could it just be AI moving forward that could just do it all together? I mean, we've seen some pretty hilarious stuff.
Give me that chip.
Sir, respectfully, go fuck yourself up the ass. I am the master motherfucking chief, bitch. If you want my sassy blue robot waifu, try and take her from me yourself and see what happens. You receding hairline, no bitches getting, divorced dentist looking ass.